045. Signal. Slowly, ever so slowly, Rain became aware of a ringing sound between his ears. He mumbled and stirred, disorientated. He'd been falling and then... Whoa! He jerked awake, his mind rapidly replaying the events leading up to and including the fall as he struggled to sit up. Immediately he noticed a problem. With this, he wasn't lying down. Whoa there! Stop squirming! Guys, he's awake! Carten. So I'm not dead then. Why can't I move? Oh, it's like that scene from Star Wars where Chewie carries 3PO on his back after he gets ripped apart. Shit, I didn't get ripped apart, did I? Do I still have arms? Rainswell tilted as Carten shrugged off the crude harness that they had strapped him into so he could be carried like a backpack. Carten set him down on the ground and started untying him. You gave us quite a scare there, little mouse. Don't try that move. I'll get you free in a second. Didn't want you flapping around on me. Rain forced himself to wait as Carten undid the ropes that had been bundling him up, mentally dismissing his still ringing alarm. His mind felt hazy and slow, as if his thoughts were made from molasses. He blinked owlishly up at his companions, their faces swimming in the dim light. Even the rock walls of the tunnel he was in were sliding around worryingly. His eyes sluggishly tracked a lunar orb as it orbited Carten's head in a warped circle. Am I drugged? What is this? Rain, welcome back, Jameis said, smiling down at him as Carten freed his arms. Rain brought a hand up to his head feebly. The motion was difficult. Something was definitely wrong with him. Jameis? What happened? After I hit the ground. Ah, good. There's no memory loss, Jameis said. You died is what happened. She brought you back. Rain followed Jameis's finger. Amelia was standing nearby, watching him. Carten freed his legs and pulled away the last of the harness. Died? Rain said stupidly, struggling to sit up, his weak limbs trembling. Carten helped him into a sitting position, then propped him against the wall. Yes and no, Amelia said. Your health was fully depleted, but you didn't actually die. I healed you, but your body was shattered. It was a very close thing. Shattered? Rain said, finding it difficult to follow the conversation. Something's wrong, I feel... That's the dream leaf I gave you, Amelia said. I had to knock you out so you didn't hurt yourself. Your bones haven't fully mended. It's been almost a full day since you fell. A full day? But I just... Rain licked his teeth. He felt like his tongue was covered in a woolen sock. He activated Purify to clear the horrible taste from his mouth. Immediately as he did so, his thoughts started to flow clearly again. Whatever chemical he had been doused with had been burned out of his bloodstream. Whoa, he said, cancelling the skill. That's trippy. You good now? Carten asked. I think so. I still feel weak, but the dream leaf, was it? Yeah, I think Purify took care of it. Fascinating, Jameis said. Amelia has used that skill several times in your presence, but it didn't have that effect. Dreamleaf is both a medicine and a toxin. It depends upon your perspective, Amelia said. Purify is weird. My advice is to not think about it too much. Can you stand? I think so. Rain slowly got to his feet. His legs trembled, but he waved away any offer of help. Just don't do anything too strenuous, Amelia said. You are suffering from soul strain due to overhealth. It's serious. Your body won't be able to take any more healing for a few days. This doesn't feel like soul strain. I just feel weak, Rain said. It's a different type, Jameis said. There are plenty of ways to injure your soul. Oh, Rain said. He was starting to feel a little better, but he wasn't going to be up for much more than walking for a while. He looked around in a sudden panic. Hey, wait a minute. Where's Val? He's up there, Carten said, pointing along the tunnel they were in. Rain saw a light in the distance. Wait, alone? Isn't that dangerous? Yes, Amelia said with a sigh. But he saw a blue flea across the bridge when we crossed, and he's been impossible ever since. He insisted on taking the lead. Sounds about right, Rain said with a smile. A blue, huh? What else did I miss? Oh, it was amazing, Carten said, excitement clear in his voice. Amelia, she... Hold on, Amelia said. If we are doing story time, let's get Val back here. I don't want to go through this twice. Message, Val. Rain is awake. Come back. She looked at Rain, her voice returning to normal, as the echoes of the spell faded. I've got questions for you. That fall should have killed you. Sorry, but you just don't have the health to survive something like that. Yeah, tell me about it, Rain said. I thought I was a goner. He licked his lips. Say, anyone got any water? My mouth feels like it's full of sand. Carten passed him a flask. Go easy, we're low, he said. Rain accepted it and took a conservative drink, then restoppered it and handed it back. Belatedly, he realized that Carten's armor had taken some serious damage. It looked like it had been bent back into shape after sustaining some massive impact. Probably the fall. Thanks, he said, then cleared his throat. Well, when I went over, I knew I was probably screwed. All of a sudden, things seemed to slow down, I guess. I don't know if it was magic or just the regular old realization of my impending death. I had just enough time to use a skill point in Force Ward before I hit. I remember right up to the actual impact, then nothing. It feels like it just happened. Ha! I knew it, Carten said, moving to slap Rain on the back, but stopping himself as Amelia shot him a warning look. He nodded to her, then turned to grin at Jameis. Pay up? Jameis sighed and reached for his belt pouch. Wait, you guys bet on how I survived? Rain said, incredulous. Jameis passed a few tel to Carten, then retied his pouch. No, well, yes, but that isn't what this is. We didn't put money on that one. No, this is just the bet we made earlier about what skill you'd take. Oh, Rain said. He shook his head. Adventurers. The light of Val's orb merged with Amelia's as he reached them, and he beamed at Rain. Rain, welcome back to the land of the living. Thanks, I guess. Rain scratched his ear. So, first word, eh? I only heard the tail end of that. I guess that means I won the bet, Jameis. Yes, good job, Jameis said, doffing his hat and running a hand through his wavy hair. What did you bet on, Jameis, if not Force Ward? Rain asked. No, I thought Carten might have caught you or something. He wouldn't say, and I didn't think Force Ward would be strong enough to protect you. Yeah, me neither. I'm gonna have to check the numbers on that. I think the strength ring also had something to do with... Huh. I guess it's had it. Rain looked at the blackened ring adorning his finger. To confirm, he pulled up his menus to check his current status. Yep, no more health boost for me. Damn it. Attributes. Richmond Rain Stroudwater. Level 18. Experience. 22,749 out of 22,750. Dynamo. Health, 200. Stamina, 200. Mana, 5,100. Strength, 10. Recovery, 10. Endurance, 10. Vigor, 10. Focus, 10. Clarity, 200. Free stat points, 0. Statistics. Health total, 200. Base, 200. Modifier, 0, 100%. Health regen, total 100 per day. Base 100 per day. Modifier 0 per day 100%. Stamina total 200. Base 200. Modifier 0 100%. Stamina regen total 100 per day. Base 100 per day. Modifier 0 per day 100%. Mana total 5100. Base 5100. Modifier 0 100%. Mana regen total 60.4 per minute. Base 12.6 per minute. Modifier minus 2.1 per minute. 495.6%. Movement speed 10. Perception 10. Resistances: heat 1 0%, cold 1 0%, light 1 0%, dark 1 0%, force 1 0%, arcane 1 0%, mental 1 0%, chemical 1 0%. Rain pulled the charred ring off and slipped it into a pouch, dismissing his windows. He'd go through the rest of it later. He cleared his throat again. He still felt thirsty, but didn't want to use any more of their limited water. "So, after I passed out, what happened?" Oh, let me tell it," said Carten. "Might as well have lunch, I suppose," James said, shrugging out of his pack and bending to dig out a ration bar. He bit into it and made a face. Rain smiled. "Serves you right, James. Buying me all those rations? You couldn't have gotten some beef jerky or something?" His smile faded as the dark side of their supply situation crossed his mind. His eyes sought out the completion percentage for the lair, and he gave a relieved sigh when he saw that it was down to 23% remaining. They might get out of this yet. Carten launched into the story, animatedly speaking through a mouthful of his own ration bar. "So, the ram hits me, right? And then I'm flying and falling. But Amelia, she's all, 'Not today,' and fucking wrecks the thing. Val's words, not mine. And then she's like, whoosh, and..." Rain sat thinking. After listening to Carten's retelling of the events since the chasm, the first thing he'd done was to thank Amelia profusely for her heroic dive off the cliff to save him. She had accepted his thanks, awkwardly, and he decided not to make too big of a deal of her saving his life. Not after how uncomfortable she had seemed while Carten was singing her praises. He'd have to find some way of thanking her properly once they were out of the lair. He'd also used Essence Well to refill a good portion of James's mana. Val and Amelia had already recovered to full by the time he'd woken up. Amelia's stamina was only at around 3/4, though there wasn't much he could do about that. Her health was also down to a sliver, which Rain guessed meant she was unable to heal herself for whatever reason. He had decided against asking her right now, and added it to his ever-growing list of questions. He rubbed at his sore neck, then returned his attention to his skills menu. "Skills. Aura Metamagic Tier 0. Amplify Aura 10 out of 10. Extend Aura 10 out of 10. Tier 1 Aura Focus 10 out of 10. Aura Synergy 7 out of 10. Experience 753 out of 4,400. Tier 2 Aura IFF 5 out of 10. Experience 3,027 out of 4,400. Defensive Auras. Tier 2 Force Ward 3 out of 10. Experience 150 out of 1,600. Increase physical resistance by 12.717% for all entities. Range 4.24 meters. Cost 1 MP per damage mitigated. Magical utility. Tier 0. Intrinsic clarity 10 out of 10. Intrinsic focus 10 out of 10. Tier 1. Channel mastery 10 out of 10. Tier 2. Magical synergy 10 out of 10. Offensive auras. Tier 0. Refrigerate 6 out of 10. Experience 1,468 out of 1,600. Immolate 5 out of 10. Experience 566 out of 1,100. Utility auras. Tier 0. Purify 10 out of 10. Winter 7 out of 10. Experience 1,842 out of 2,200. Tier 1. Detection 10 out of 10. Essence Well 10 out of 10. Velocity 8 out of 10. Experience 998 out of 5,800. Free skill points 2. He'd ranked up once in detection, velocity, and aura synergy, as well as twice in force ward. It was the last skill that he was currently trying to figure out. Okay, so at rank 3, it gives 12% mitigation, at a cost of 1 mana per point of damage mitigated. It wasn't rank 3 when I hit, though. I need a reference. Rain popped open a panel displaying one of the other defensive auras to use as a guide for how the skill would have looked at rank 1. Dark Ward, 0 out of 10 plus. Increase dark resistance by 4.39% for all entities. Range, 1.41 meters. Cost, 1 MP per damage mitigated. Aura synergy level 2, so that isn't quite accurate. But whatever, close enough. Call it 4% at 1 MP per damage. I used all modifiers, so... Rain switched to Force Ward and activated it. He paused momentarily to investigate the skill. Pressing a finger against his hand, he didn't feel any different. And there was no immediate, obvious visual effect. Shrugging, he activated all of his modifiers, watching the displays for both Dark Ward and Force Ward. Unfortunately, only the skill he was using changed to reflect the active mods. Force Ward, 3 out of 10. Experience, 150 out of 1,600. Increase physical resistance by 152.604% for all entities. Range, 55.1 meters. Cost, 54 MP per damage mitigated. Wow! Everyone in range is 150% immune to physical damage right now. I wonder what that means. Do we heal if we get punched? I'll ask Jameis in a minute. First things first. Amplify is ×2 power, Aura Focus is ×3 power, and Channel Mastery is 2 times power. Force Ward gives 12% boost at level 3. ×2 ×2 ×3 is more or less 12 × 12, so 144. This shows 152. Close enough for me. That means skill intensity boosts apply to the resistance percentage. Therefore, yesterday it was 4% × 12, so 48%. Would reducing the damage I took from that fall by half have been enough? I guess so, seeing as I'm still alive and all. Wait, did I even have enough mana to cover that? The cost right now is pretty insane. Blocking 200 damage would cost me over 10,000 mana. Would that cause under mana, or would the skill just cancel? What does under mana even do? Memory loss? I can't remember the impact, which is probably for the best, but everything up to that point is crystal clear. I feel like I should be traumatized or something. Best not to dwell on it. Where was I? Oh right, yesterday. Force Ward would have cost 1 MP per damage mitigated times 54 for all the mods. That means with a full mana pool, I could have blocked 100 damage with another 100 getting through because of the 50% rate. I didn't have full mana, maybe around half. So the skill would have blocked 50 damage with me taking the remaining 50, plus whatever else was left from the fall after I ran out of mana. In hindsight, Extend Aura was a bad idea, but I kinda had other things on my mind. Amelia said my health was totally empty. That means a fall of 50 meters caused at least 450 points of damage. It had to have been close. I don't think I'd have survived without the skill, or without the strength ring, or without the immediate healing. I wonder if I reached terminal velocity. Rain sighed and dropped the skill, dismissing all of his windows and switching back to winter. He was running on fumes after transferring all of his mana to Jameis with Essence Well. He let his head fall back against the wall with a thump. I really almost died. Did die, depending on your definition. That's 3 times now. Once in the sewer, once with the kin, and now once more by falling off the cliff. I'm catching up to Val at a worrying rate. Wait, no. I forgot about the Muskwolf. 4 times. Rain shivered and pulled himself to his feet with the help of the wall. It was time to get going unless he wanted to add death by dehydration to the list.
Ready to go?
Val asked. Rain nodded. Yup. So, tell me about this essence monster you saw. Val grinned.
Crafty bugger. It's a little rodent thing, about the size of a lago, but it's level 5 and fast as lightning. It was sitting there on the bridge when we climbed out, mocking me. It stuck around just long enough for me to see its name, then scampered across. I would have had the damn thing too, if Amelia hadn't stopped me.
You would have gotten yourself killed, and you know it, Amelia said. There were more bats, remember?
Yeah, Val said. I'd have been fine. I had plenty of mana by then.
Amelia gave him a skeptical look as they started moving down the tunnel, but didn't make an issue out of it.
Anyway, Val said, if you see something called a dire, dark monk, don't so much as look at it funny, eh? It's all right if you're around, but I need 100% contribution. If it comes after you, don't block it, don't kick it, don't shoot it. Don't do anything that might cause damage. Just get the hell out of the way and let me deal with it.
I've been meaning to ask about that, Rain said. Contribution. I've noticed it's different in here. Outside, I got credit for pointing out those slimes, even though I didn't actually do anything to them other than find them. In here, though, only stuff I've damaged directly has counted. Those bats, for example, sending them into the wall gave me 100% contribution for the ones that fell to their deaths. Who determines contribution? And why did the rules change? Amelia sighed. In Lair, contribution is damage-based only. Nothing else will affect it. Not healing, not mana regeneration, not even buffs like velocity. As for why, that can wait. We're still in danger. You can ask all the questions you want when we're back on the surface. Right, sorry, he said. Amelia had been very tolerant of Carten's loud description of the battle, though she had looked uncomfortable while the gregarious man had been lavishing her with praise. Rain shook his head and resolved to keep his mind on the issue at hand, namely, their survival. He was feeling the absence of the strength ring on his finger keenly. He switched to detection and released a pulse, searching for monsters. Immediately he got a hit from straight behind them. He whirled, turning to face the source of the signal. There was only one, and it felt slippery to his mind. Even though he had used a full-strength detection nova, he scanned the darkness, seeing nothing.
What is it?
Jameis asked, but Rain held up a hand for him to wait. He hadn't felt like the signal was moving toward them. On a hunch, he used detection aura once more, this time searching for a very specific type of monster. Again the signal came back to him, about 25 meters back along the tunnel in the darkness.
Val?
He whispered.
Yeah,
Val asked, keeping his voice down to match.
Your dark monk,
Rain said softly.
It's following us, he smiled, and it's alone.